All right. I think we're good here. Uh, hello to all who um, is invested in this concept here. Um, Me and my friend Josh here represent some of these Christians who are, let's just say, interested in secular media, not so much because of just trying to escape reality as much as it's interesting to break this stuff down and see what is actually there biblically.
Yeah.
Because it's in a lot of things whether you would expect it to be or not.
Yeah.
And it's kind of insane. Uh,
Yeah. I mean, you know, certain anime, Kingdom Hearts, heck, even some Marvel movies, I can see a bit of biblical stuff in there.
right. And not just
Yeah.
that, but of course, there's also been plenty of stories that's also been actively inspired by the biblical truth, such as Narnia and Lord of the Rings. You could point to those two as some of the more famous examples. But tonight, we're going to break down a movie that, well, it's pretty popular. We'll just start with that. Inception, the movie by Christopher Nolan, who is known for making the Batman Dark Knight trilogy. And
Yeah.
I guess if you haven't seen the Dark Knight movies, this was probably your first from Christopher Nolan, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Maybe.
I mean, he's
I
definitely
think
done a
so.
lot of movies, a lot of big time ones with original concepts. I guess it's just that the Dark Knight movies are kind of what most people know him for otherwise.
Yeah.
But that.
Because,
Go ahead, man. My bad.
oh, yeah, I was going to say, yeah, because a lot of people like Batman and the DC versus Wells in general.
I mean, I can't blame him personally since I'm a
Yeah.
Batman super freak, but you know. uh,
Yeah.
with Inception, though, this is a very unique movie concept due to the fact that, specifically with Inception, it's focused around dreams at the very core. And in a way that you wouldn't exactly expect. And when you're especially a Christian and you know the significance of dreams, it makes it actually far more engaging.
Yeah.
So, for anyone who might be wanting to watch this, we'll just let you know right now there will be spoilers in this breakdown because it's a breakdown. We'll be talking about certain moments in the story. We'll be comparing it biblically as well. And in the end, if you have any interest in watching Inception, then I encourage you to go and watch it and then come back later and hear what we have to say. Because it's
Hmm.
definitely a good movie. So you'd at least, get to enjoy it whether you're even a Christian or not, because it's so extremely popular, it's not even funny. Um, so, to kind of generally break down the plot here, this movie stars Leonardo DiCaprio, who beforehand was probably most famous for Titanic, and
Yeah.
he's a pretty good actor overall. So in this movie, he is essentially a criminal who uses this equipment that the likes of the military made through Black Ops development to share dreams. And through this technology, people have been able to steal people's deepest, darkest secrets this way.
Hmm.
Now, just there alone, when you consider how dreams are very personal to begin with, there is a lot of stuff that is reflected that is very personal to everyone in their dreams. Like, doesn't matter who you are, your dreams are going to reflect your personal life one way or another. But when you understand the biblical truth about how dreams are prophecies that God had blessed us with, that actually makes sense as well. So
Yeah.
the concept off the bat being focused around these people who are trying to steal information makes a lot of sense. Why going into a dream would be probably one of the most what's the word I'm looking for here, vulnerable ways you could have someone, especially for getting these kind of secrets off of a person. After all, when you're also asleep and you're specifically lucid, you would go, oh, this is a dream, so I'm totally safe. I could just probably spit off all my secrets here to begin with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, with that being considered here, off the bat, it was a very interesting opening when you're seeing him basically talk about how dreams are a way that people are very vulnerable, and that he is the best at security with dreams, to where if the character of Saito wanted to prepare himself for potential robbers in dreams trying to get his information, he would have to let him in. And then he walks off, clearly noticing there's something going on. And specifically, too, with letting someone in, that sounds like something that you'd either hear from God in Christ, or you'd be hearing from the devil.
Yeah.
So there's kind of a bit of a creepiness factor to it off the bat right there.
Yeah.
But quickly as it goes on, you see this character named Mal, who is Leonardo DiCaprio's wife in the movie. And she's talking to him somehow being in this job of theirs without actually being there, which is a bit creepy, and she ends up being this kind of force that ends up acting like a villain for the movie in many cases, due to how much she gets in the way of the protagonists.
Yeah.
Now, as you go through this, though, you see the dream also shift and look kind of surreal overall, down to features like the world rotating because everyone dreaming in the back of a car that's like rolling over in a accident, to how water would just suddenly flood into the dream because the person who's dreaming is getting dunked into water to wake them up.
Yeah. It is interesting.
And it really adds to the surrealism of this story, due to the fact that specifically it really does add to this concept being far more realistic in ways than you'd expect, especially because the effects went so hard to make it look so realistic. So the Maul character goes out of her way to basically sabotage her husband's work in that job, where he is trying to get information off of this other character in the beginning, Saito, and he ends up only giving away so much of his information, with some of it being blurted out. And they tried to fake him out with getting ready to kill him on supposedly his apartment's floor, all to feel it and go, wait a minute, this is supposed to be a polyester carpet, and this feels like wool, so I have to still be asleep. It's a dream within a dream. And from personal experience with like really early childhood dreams, I actually experienced that kind of thing quite a lot. How about you?
Hmm. Dreams within dreams.
Where you basically have a moment where you feel like you're gonna wake up because the dream's fallen apart and you're like possibly fallen down a large height, or you're getting killed or something like that.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's been instances in dreams where I've like fallen over and then ended up like waking up with a start, and like I've had certain nightmares too. So, yeah.
But like specifically for me, I've had these nightmares where I would go through the trauma of like falling down a hole or something, and then I wake up, or at least I think I wake up, all for it to continue to be a nightmare.
Yeah.
Like like has that ever happened to you where you seem to have been faked out with a dream ending?
Uh, that's a good question, actually. I don't. Maybe.
I mean, I'm
If
just
so, I can't.
asking, I guess, because it really also added to how surreal this movie was for me when I first saw it back then. Excuse me.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think. I have. Like seemingly woken up from a dream and then was in some other dream or something.
It's kind of interesting how that works out, and it really is, like I said, part of what made this movie so surreal for me when I was first experiencing it as a in my early teens, I'd say.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
And but basically, after they got out of both stages of the dream, this character Arthur, who's Leonardo DiCaprio's character's, he's like a partner in crime, so to speak, and he was starting to question him about why his wife ended up in the dream when it wasn't his dream. As they introduce this concept about how the one who is dreaming, the one who owns the dream, they populate it with the likes of what they call, I'm trying to remember the specific term they used, projections. That's what they said they were. And specifically, Leonardo DiCaprio's character, I'll just call him Cobb because that was his name in the movie. He basically had a projection of his wife in there when the one who's dreaming is supposed to be the one putting these projections out. Probably as part of how dreams are so personal that they would be filled with projections that may even represent someone they would actually know.
Yeah, and like in the movie, like in psychology, the term projections refers to like basically putting your feelings onto something else. So
that actually makes sense
mall,
right there. Huh.
Yeah, like for example, transference, where you like put your feelings for one thing onto another thing, like you don't want to lose something, so you try to protect something else. And yeah, like so in the movie, he mentioned that like the lower floors on this elevator were like memories he was trying to change, and Maul being a projection, like he's blaming himself for her death. So like that's probably why she acts that way in the dream, because he feels like it's his fault and hasn't dealt with that yet.
So
You know?
so specifically too, he also is clearly going through his own moment of wondering if he is really in reality or not still, because there was that one
Yeah.
scene when he used the top that may have used to be Maul's, but I don't think that means that he was in a dream for most of the movie.
Yeah.
As much as it wouldn't work if someone actually genuinely held it and knew the weight and all that, because it's about knowing the specifics of that item to help you realize you're in a dream rather
Yeah. Yeah.
than someone else knowing and then they could perhaps recreate it perfectly in the dream and then it's useless to use that totem.
Hmm.
So because
Yeah.
of that, because no one else knew about that top the way Cobb did, it would still work.
Yeah.
And because of this though, he uses the top um, in his waking time after the job trying to get the information off of Saito, and he has a pistol ready to blow his brains out if the top doesn't stop spinning. All to
Yeah.
actually stop the pistol from being used and just take a deep breath when he saw it topple over. So
Yeah.
he's clearly going through his own worry of am I dreaming or am I awake?
Yeah.
And
Because
and I bring this up specifically too because when I was in my early childhood, I had some really gnarly nightmares with these demonic freaking creatures chasing me. One was like a pair of leopards that came to life out of this painting on me. Then one was this bull skull that came to life as like a bull ghost or something chasing after me. And then one was like a monkey that looked like that traditional monkey with the
those
clapping
symbols.
hands. Yeah,
Yeah.
like what you get in freaking Call of Duty Black Ops Zombies.
Oh yeah. Hi, Mr. Monkey. Oh.
But I had those nightmares where those things were chasing me, and specifically, I was also having the repeated nightmare of like falling into this dark void. With my house falling into it with me, or me jumping out of the house's entryway to freaking escape the void that I almost fell into. But thing is, the dream would repeat practically at nauseum. It was not only being repeated insanely a lot, but it recreated my house so perfectly that it was very hard for me to tell when I was asleep or awake. Especially when I
Yeah.
had those fake outs of thinking, okay, now I'm awake. Now I'm safe from this nightmare. Now I can relax, all for it to be a nightmare still.
Yeah.
And then one day I had this thing where I saw specifically that monkey in my waking time and I was freaking out and crying to my mom about it, and then I was put on some medication that didn't last long because my mom really didn't like what it made me deal with, and this was all over my dreams back then.
Hmm. Interesting.
And I guess I share this because I kind of relate to this character of Cobb, where he is having his moments of wondering if he's still dreaming or if he's awake.
Yeah.
Probably because on one
'Cause-
hand, too, he deep down is hoping he's asleep in reality where his wife is dead.
Yeah.
So it gets more trippy though because he is then asked about Inception because they called getting information off of someone. I'm trying to remember the exact term they used for that. Um, it's a heist like kind of job pulling the information out, but then there is this
Yeah.
concept of Inception, they call it, where you are to supposedly implant an idea. So in a way, it's also like MK Ultra. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because in the end, you are intending to fool someone into believing something
Yeah.
that was never truly their idea. But it
Yeah.
happens, and it is
Yeah.
something that they try to play off as, oh no, this can't be done. All
Yeah.
for
And then like,
all for Cobb to accept the job because he was given a chance to actually go back home, not as a criminal, so that he could be a father to his kids again.
yeah, because and then that yeah, and the idea of that implanting ideas, that's also unfortunately done all the time in another negative way, just like through psychological manipulation, like gaslighting and stuff like that too. Because
Right.
like
As I think
you
about that,
you
that
like
does make sense.
yeah, like you like make the person think they have to like depend on you because they can't trust themselves, and
It's actually a lot like also that one scene that they had where they're trying to tell Saito that it's impossible, and they're all right, well, here, let me give you an example of how this is impossible. If I tell you not to think about
elephant.
rabbits or elephants, what
What are you
immediately comes
thinking
to
about?
mind? Elephants.
Elephants. Yeah,
Yeah, but it wasn't
because
your idea, and you know it's not your idea.
yeah, it's I mean, it's interesting, like uh, because it's like the brain kind of in that case that I'm sure it's like the brain like mostly pulling from memory, like oh elephant,
Right.
you know.
But at the
Uh,
same time, it still is a case of just like you really brought it to someone's mind because you brought it up in the first place.
yeah, or it's like okay, so I need to not think about elephants. Oh crap, I'm thinking about elephants. you know,
Well, I guess I screwed up then.
like you know, because it's tricky, but yeah.
And specifically, though, what is also very uh, I'm trying to think of how else I would bring this up. Specifically, though, I just really quick looked it up. The term they used for when they are practically performing a heist and getting information out of them is called extraction.
Yeah, extraction.
Makes sense.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
and like
what is also trippy though is specifically when Cobb goes out of his way to try and get someone to basically make the dreams. He happens to recruit a woman named Ariadne, who is played by. I refuse to use her training name. Sorry. Her name is Ellen Page. um,
mm,
but Ariadne is, from my understanding, a okay. She's a mythical figure from Greek mythology. Was
mm,
a Cretan princess, the daughter of King Minos of Crete, or at least I think that's how you pronounce it. There are variations of
I
Ariadne's
think
myth, but she's known for helping Theseus escape from the Minotaur and being abandoned by him or herself dying on the island of Naxos. There,
Yeah.
Dionysus saw Ariadne sleeping, fell in love with her, and later married her. That's creepy. Many versions of this myth recounts Dionysus following Ariadne's jeweled crown into the sky to create a constellation, the Corona
Mm.
Borealis. And Ariadne is associated with mazes and labyrinths because of her involvement in the myths of Theseus and the Minotaur. So she
Yeah.
actually
I mean,
made like mazes and all that. Then I guess it makes sense why they would name her character Ariadne,
mm-hmm.
because
That
she
makes
was
sense.
known as the architect for the team in the movie. So the architect was the person who would go out of their way to create the dream that then the dreamer would fill with the projections.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
through this, Ariadne was clearly a reference in some degree there, especially down to how it sounds like she's also trying to help Cobb get over his trauma through the movie as well.
Yeah.
And she's trying to lead him back to accepting reality, even though it may be screwed up.
Yeah. Because, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's where it makes sense to me, admittedly. But specifically, though, she then meets Cobb's wife in one of the dreams as she literally just shows up out of nowhere and stabs her. And
Yeah.
and she then later on is talking to Arthur about her, and she basically sounded like she asked, "Why isn't he with her now?" And he's all, "No, it ain't like that. She died." And it then starts to reveal this sort of trauma that Cobb is dealing with, while he is also trying to figure out how to perform Inception on this man that Saito specifically wishes to disband his father's company for his own benefit. So in it, they're trying to figure out how to do that, but then as they continue to plan this Inception heist down, um, you have Ariadne finally starting to look into Cobb's dreams when he is seemingly dreaming by himself using the machine.
Yeah.
And around that time, they're also given a sedative that they had to employ a certain guide to get them. And in the place where they were given the sedatives, it's like this. There's this big old freaking underground area where all these people are choosing to dream with the sedative for some reason, and one of them was asking out, "Why are they choosing to do this?" And one of them answered, "It's not because we came here to dream. It's because we came here to be woken up," or something along those lines. Something
Yeah.
about learning the truth, to where it sounded like these were people who probably knew the significance of dreams properly, to where
Mm-hmm.
that's why they cared to do the sedative and have those long dreams.
Yeah.
And specifically with the likes of Cobb, when Ariadne goes into his dream, she sees him talking with Maul and interacting with her as if there's nothing potentially dangerous about her, despite how she ruined their heist in the beginning of the movie, and how much she's been very what's the word, violent towards the other protagonists.
Yeah.
And she ends up being told by Cobb how he regrets this last time he saw his kids, how he didn't call out to them because he was given a ticket and he had to just leave out of nowhere. And she goes down to the lowest level to see this place that they had their anniversaries before, and it's just a wreck, like some sort of terrible thing happened there. And Maul's there, and she just immediately like is targeting her, like she's about ready to kill her in the dream, as usual. All for
Yeah.
Cobb to step in, clearly to where Maul did not like her going down there at all.
Yeah.
And eventually, it's from understanding that that there was a there was this thing that happened with the character of Maul where the original was someone who, alongside Cobb, really got into the dream sharing stuff to where they went into this sort of status called limbo, where you're stuck in a dream or in a sleeping state for what feels like forever. And
Yeah.
they built their own world there freely and
Hmm.
practically lived out their lives till they were old. But in order to get out of the limbo, they did have to actually kill themselves to wake themselves up. So,
Yeah.
the reason Cobb knows that Inception can work is because he did it on his wife, who
Yeah.
needed to be given the idea that that reality in limbo really was a dream and that that wasn't the real world. But it ended up having an effect that he did not foresee, as when she woke up, she never truly woke up because she just constantly thought that in the waking world she was still dreaming.
Yeah. And it kind of goes back to where he where when the first time he and Ariadne were sharing the dreams, he she pulled a from her memory and created a bridge that she goes to her college,
Mm-hmm.
and then and then he tells her never to create something from memory because then you would it would be harder to tell if it's a dream or it's reality. And what they did was the same thing in Limbo, where they pulled from their memory of their
Right,
house and stuff like
right.
that, and like
Down to where Molly even
and
had her childhood home there.
yeah, and then like because like and then like when he probably implanted that idea, the inception, into her, she probably thought, oh, so like from her sensory standpoint, she probably thought, oh, this is not real. And then when she woke up in the exact same house, she probably was confused and thought, oh, this isn't real.
You know, that's actually a
Uh,
good point overall because in the end, it does probably add to also probably even how Cobb was doubting if he was in reality or not so many times.
Yeah, because like I said, yeah, and then like he said you know, when you implant an idea, it starts out as a little idea, but then it starts to escalate, and with that like association that like over and over seeing this house that you saw in Limbo as well, you know, it was hard to decipher, really. It's kind of like when someone dissociates so much that they can't
Mm,
really tell what's real or what's not, because there's like dissociative disorders, or
That
like
makes a lot
the
of
people
sense
when
too, actually.
yeah, or people with like deep depression like can dissociate and like not understand what's real anymore. It's like tricky, but like, yeah.
I'm surprised that in the end it doesn't end up screwing over the guy that they did Inception on, though, too. If only because of how much it screwed over Maul, you'd think that there would be potentially a chance it would screw over the other guy. Um,
Yeah.
all for him to actually, at least seemingly, he got out of that situation probably with a better mindset in the first place.
Yeah, and he wasn't there as long as they were because Cobb and Maul were there for Lord knows how long.
I mean,
But
it
yeah.
was shown that they actually grew old together there. So if anything,
Yeah.
it was damn near a lifetime, you know.
Yeah.
And on top of also using the places from the real world and specifically how the idea he implanted was this world is not real, so that she would choose to finally wake up with him.
Yeah.
Because when she finally woke up and she had all those moments of snapping at her kids, even because she refused to believe that they were real.
Yeah.
When they had their anniversary, she literally was sitting out on a windowsill opposite of the room that they had their anniversaries in, usually.
Cool.
Demanded him to literally sit out there with her and demanded that he would jump with her, going all, we're gonna go home to our real children finally. And she even went as far as to go out of her way to, in quite a psycho way, literally threaten him with waking up by going, "Oh, I just told our lawyer that I worry for my life, that I am afraid of you," which is
Yeah.
just super fucked up right there. I'm sorry for cursing there, but I mean it really is.
Yeah, because yeah, it's like, that's like like I said, that's where dissociation can become so dangerous because like, you're um like even like, on the organic cellular even level, like as like, your brain learns by making associations.
Right,
So like we said, like pulling from memory, being there for so long,
right.
then like uh your brain's like, okay, this is it, okay, this is it, okay, this is it, yeah. And then like when you're mixing that with this is a dream, okay, this is it, this dream, okay, this is a dream, you know like like even when you're like in the real world again, you know it's harder to uh uh convince someone like like I said, like it's kind of like having a psychotic break
Yeah,
because
that's for sure.
like because like it happens with people with especially schizophrenia. Like if you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to convince them that, like, for example, if I've used the example, well, credit to my professor, one of my professors, but like it's like if you're trying to convince someone that there's no one in their closet, and like you show them and then they say, like, our brain tries to figure out explanations that even if they don't make sense, it likes to have an explanation anyway. So they're like, well, of course you didn't, well, of course there's no one in there because you must have helped them get in there, so you helped them get out,
I mean, it definitely also adds on to where um, it definitely comes off as something that that also the devil would do to someone in the first place, trying to make them worry if they're actually in a dream or if they're awake or not, to flat out get them to just think, oh, I just need to full on suicide and I'll wake up. That
Yeah,
sounds like something the devil would do, with how much he
like
pushes people to suicide to begin with.
yeah, like making them think that suicide is indeed the way out, and like the way out of that like suffering as well.
Exactly.
You
And
know?
it is a huge part of where I'd say it's pretty trippy right there alone.
Yeah, and like to get to the point of suicide though, you have to it's like really hard to actually pull it off because yeah, you have to like truly believe that there is no hope at all. Like you're just going to be in that situation forever, like that suffering,
Right.
and there's like nothing you can do about it. It's kind of like learned helplessness with depression a little bit. Uh
Yeah.
like to an extreme. And then like even then you have to like plan it out. And then even then you have to actually go through with it. And like
Yeah.
that's a really hard thing to do because of the survival instinct.
Big time. And definitely, it is clear that the devil has brought many people to suicide over all kinds of things. Like this day and age, they're bringing many people to suicide over the strange concept of transgenderism and trying to make you think, oh, I've been born in the wrong body.
Yeah. I mean
Because
like
it's way too common nowadays, sadly, just that alone.
yeah. And it's like yeah, that's a very tragic thing. It's like, I mean, it is a genuine feeling, yes, but like it's of course not true. But like even people who undergo the surgeries and then know that they can't reverse it, it's kind of even worse.
No joke there. Especially
Yeah,
because so much of it
yeah,
just it really also kind
yeah,
of makes when it comes to these people either planting an idea or trying to take ideas away, it does come off like something that demons would be doing to you in the first place as
yeah.
well, in a way
True.
that
And
is far too creepy when you think about it.
yeah,
And specifically, this is why I'm bringing up demons for the sake of Maul herself, because of how much she goes out of her way to actively screw with the missions that they go under in the beginning of the movie and the end, and the fact that it is a visual representation of how much Cobb blames himself for the fact that she killed herself, all because he had to get her to think that being in limbo was not reality and that she had to kill herself to get back to reality. All for it to
hmm,
backfire, and she just never thought she woke up properly.
yeah. Because like yeah, your man like that is true. And then
And it's down to where she almost ruins the mission in the end by trying to trap the subject of Inception in limbo, to where he had to where both Ariadne and Cobb had to go into limbo to get him out, just so that they
yeah,
could complete the inception of him having this change about of thinking that his dad was just disappointed in him, to actually, you know, having cared about their relationship and having wanted him to, not have to live thinking that he needs to um, to live up to his dad's legacy as much as just getting to be himself, his own person.
Yeah.
And at the very least, they freaking gave the guy a nice new thought, out of that. But
Yeah.
in
Sorry.
the end, the main thing is also how after Cobb went through all of that and how he finally lets go of Maul in the limbo down to where he also gets Saito after he freaking spends so long in limbo that he freaking grows into an old man.
Yeah.
And when he finally wakes up and he's seen his kids for the first time, he finally doesn't even stare at the top to see it topple over. He just goes straight for his kids and just accepts that he's finally gotten free of especially the guilt he held over Maul.
Yeah.
And when you look at the only what's the term I'm looking for here? The only deleted scenes that seem to exist of Inception out there includes an extended ending where you actually see the top topple over. So
Yeah.
it is it is flat out fact that he really did wake up in the end, and that he isn't just gonna freaking live in limbo thinking that he's back with his kids or something.
Yeah.
Which
And then,
a lot of people actually threw out theories like that when this movie came out, honestly. And someone also came up with a more popular theory that he was performing Inception on himself through the movie. And initially, I will say that this idea actually wasn't hard to believe back then, due to how people were pointing out his wedding ring and how it was in his dreams, and it was then not there when he woke up in the end, especially. But more so, I think that the wedding ring presents how much he just couldn't let go of the wife that he lost, and he definitely believed that it was his own problems that it was his guilt. It was a symbol of his guilt in the end. So of course, in the end, he's gonna have the wedding ring off because he finally accepts what happened with Maul, and he's ready to move on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and yeah, in general, that's you know, with the reality versus dream danger, like that's obviously in a more biblical sense that that can also allude to the importance of knowing truth, you know.
That makes sense too, especially because without Saito even knowing the significance of this line to Cobb, he tells him to take a leap of faith, something that Maul said before she literally killed herself. So he wouldn't know the significance to him, but he was basically throwing it out there, trying to tell him, hey, not only come back to reality, but hey, take a leap of faith. I know that it may seem like it might not work out in the end here, but I'm promising to get you back home. I just am asking for you to trust me.
Yeah, and
and in the end, it's also kind of symbolic of like accepting the truth in the end too.
Yeah, and then it's kind of having biblical faith versus blind faith. If you have biblical faith is based off what the word of God says, but blind faith is just taking anything as a sign from God, like like if you like, for example, see something that uh is someone taking vengeance, and you think it's God telling you to take vengeance for something, that's obviously not what he would do. But if you had like, if you didn't know that, and like you thought he was telling you to do it, and you thought that you were going to be like punished, especially if you didn't, then of course, you're going to think that.
Yeah.
For example, just
And
just as an
and
example, and
specifically, I guess you could also kind of say that that in the case of the sort of so-called faith that Maul had, it represents the blind faith, while the faith that Saito was encouraging Cobb to start having at the beginning was the faith in things actually working out
yeah,
in
kind of
a more
going
positive way in the first place.
true, yeah. And then like, kind of like going back to uh psychology a little bit here, like some people with like schizophrenia have like religious delusions, like they I mean, this could be a lot of things, but like they like may think that um like that they are the Messiah, or they
Mm-hmm.
are God, or things like that. And like schizophrenia again is like a it's a tricky disorder. But
That
yeah,
is for sure, especially because clearly a lot of people can have it, especially when they're like, for example, in the New Age, and they're believing
yeah,
themselves to be able to do stuff through stuff that is either referred to as the secret or the law of attraction.
yeah, true. And the average age of onset for schizophrenia is 25, which is a very interesting thing because it seems to happen like over time. Like they won't show symptoms until like late adolescence, early adulthood. Normally, like there is child onset schizophrenia, but that's much more rare.
Mm.
But yeah,
And
like
go ahead.
sorry,
Oh, that's fine. Go ahead.
yeah. All right, it's all right. Yeah, there's like different theories like neurodegeneration, like glutamate receptors, like NMDA receptors having a slightly off shape, that the brain will make more glutamate and like like accidentally kill off some of its neurons, and like
Mm.
people will lose brain tissue. And like neuroinflammation, they think they see like microglia, which is basically the brain's little immune system causing inflammation of the brain, uh, stuff like that.
The thing is, in the end, a lot of this definitely also taps into those kind of mental disorders, really, because of
Yeah,
stuff like Maul not knowing whether it's reality or not, and even Cobb for a moment questioning it.
yeah, it's like it's and like that kind of does bring me to another neuro like neurodevelopmental theory, like like stuff happens like in the womb itself, like while the baby is developing,
Mm.
that like might um have something to do with it, uh like and like neurotransmitter theory is like, it's like I think I've said this. Well, I haven't said this on the podcast before, but like our neurons also use chemicals to talk to each other,
Mm.
essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And like that this is how they like uh kind of the in brain development, the neurons also kind of like move around and create new synapses, and like the synapses are the gaps between neurons and stuff like that. So yeah, like it's interesting. Like and like as you use a synapse more and more, it like strengthens that connection. Like they they actually move closer.
That
It's pretty interesting.
it does add a lot to especially a movie like this to think about that stuff, especially because honestly, I'm surprised that with how popular this movie was, it didn't get a sequel. Now, I understand
Yeah.
that sequels, it can be a freaking flip of the coin, whether it's good or bad. But let's be real, that's with everything.
Yeah.
Like, it could be a flip of a coin whether a movie in general is good or bad, whether music is good or bad, whether a show is good or bad, whether a cartoon is, whether a game is, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Um,
Sometimes it's even just a matter of opinion because,
yeah,
like, some people are gonna view like no one's gonna view one thing as good or bad. Like some people are gonna view it as good, some people are gonna view it as bad. They're just not gonna like it. It's like it's a combination of factors, but yeah.
kind of like how I don't think the Star Wars prequels are really that bad.
Yeah.
In the
you
end,
know.
though, I'm mainly surprised at there being no sequel because of just how much potential this concept has to begin with. Especially
Yeah.
because if there was a sequel, I could imagine them making it just as trippy, if not even more trippy, in the sequel.
Yeah. Or like, uh even maybe a prequel where we would get to see more of like Cobb and Maul in like limbo, like maybe there was like some sort of um like how they um sorry, I'm trying to think how they interacted, and like maybe there was like problems in there too, like
I mean,
because
damn sure in the end he was the one who still freaking pushed that idea onto her so that they could wake up. But it sounded like he
yeah,
was
sure.
desperate for it, like he was like, look, there was genuinely no other way to freaking get out of limbo. We had to freaking
Sure.
kill ourselves, and she was the only one who wouldn't do it till I planted the idea.
Yeah. And then and because like obviously it's like easier to be like to like escape a reality that you don't like, but uh stuff like that. But like yeah, and then like it's funny because I was also in the book of Matthew today, and I
Mm-hmm.
came across the verse where Jesus says talks about the faith, the grain of a mustard seed
Mm-hmm.
grows into a great mustard tree. It's kind of like that. Kind of goes back to that idea of Inception. Like you have an idea that you probably have start to have faith in, and then like it starts to like escalate. Like
Kind of like the beginning conversation that Cobb was having with Saito. He's all, what is the biggest parasite? An idea.
yeah.
And then he's talking about how that idea can grow and become something so terrible in many cases.
Yeah, that is true because like, the longer you have an idea or even like I said a delusion, the harder it is to convince a person that it's not true.
Right.
You
And
know.
definitely when he freaking placed that idea in her, it freaking grew far beyond what he thought it was going to be.
Yeah, they like, it goes back to like, psychotic break because like um like I said, with the brain making connections and like you know, uh, seemingly like mixing uh, reality and thoughts together. I kind of have a theory that like that's sort of what happens, and like if in schizophrenia the brain is producing a lot of glutamate. Glutamate deals also with memory consolidation and retrieval. So, and one of the main or one of the common symptoms schizophrenia is disorganized thoughts or speech. They like go from one thing to another to another. Like I saw one video where uh a guy was like, who am I gonna call? I'm gonna call Ghostbusters. No, I'm not gonna actually. Yeah, like um so like maybe it like kind of mixes memories together in a way, but like and then like maybe that's what also can cause the hallucinations and stuff like that. But it's a tricky thing. But like and so like maybe it was like mixing the memory of uh you know reality with uh dream, and then like with the idea it made it like more strong, like like those connections came together more strongly, like instead of this is reality, this is reality, this is real dream, this is reality dream, this is reality dream. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, like
In the end, it is clear that they really should never use those real places because it makes it harder for you in the end to determine if
yeah,
you're
because
really asleep or not.
yeah, and then like there's also like um it's interesting because like there's also like especially in the visual area of the brain, the occipital lobe and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that, there's a lot of the regulatory main regulatory neurotransmitters, serotonin, like receptors for that, and like that's actually what hallucinogens actually affect. Like they are kind of serotonin agonists. Uh, so like they, yeah, that's a bit about how the hallucinogens work. But yeah,
Okay.
um,
Hmm.
like psychedelics, psilocybin,
Yeah.
LSD,
People
ecstasy.
always
Yeah,
definitely talk up specifically shrooms as some sort of a spiritual experience, and
yeah, and like
oof, I can, like not only do I already hate mushrooms, but I don't think I ever want to freaking try those shrooms.
yeah, and like it's interesting because many hallucinogens actually don't produce true hallucinations. It's like more of visual distortions essentially. So
Right.
like there's like with the vision there's like illusory contours and stuff like that, and like your brain, I guess your maybe that's why there's a lot of serotonin there, because like your brain kind of has to correct like thoughts about like if you think about a purple banana or things like that. uh but like it's interesting.
I'm just now
So
actually thinking about the significance, though, that they had to go out of their way to get a sedative for the mission. Um,
yeah, sedative, yeah,
because that was still a
that
drug, let's be real.
yeah, and you know yeah, like sedatives. It's interesting, like there's hypnotics that like there's so basically where there is glutamate, there is another main inhibitory neurotransmitter called GABA, or gamma aminobutyric acid. And like, actually, uh, it can be converted into that. So like, it um is an positive, what's called a positive allosteric modulator for GABA. Like, so GABA receptors are kind of weird. They have different binding sites, and when a GABA binds to its uh, binding site, another thing can come in and bind to what's called an allosteric binding site, which there's different ones and they do different things, but like they assist the GABA. So like what hypnotics do is they go to an uh, to the sleeping areas of the brain or the waking areas of the brain and like bind to what's called uh, the alpha 1 site, which basically deals with like sleeping and stuff.
Hmm.
So like, yeah, and it's interesting.
Kind of makes me wonder if Cobb actually used a sedative on Maul, and that actually also played a part in her mental world coming down so hardcore.
Yeah, I mean, cause like I said, GABA is like inhibitory, and it like basically, um, in order to, um, it basically kind of prevents like calms the neuron down and prevents it from firing because like, in order to fire, it actually has to reach a certain charge of like about negative 55 millivolts um, for the action potential to go through the axon hillock and like travel down the axon into the axon terminal where um, there's a few more steps with that involve like calcium and such, but like the vesicles like release the neurotransmitters into the synapse to talk to the next neuron.
Man,
Yeah.
this really was such a trippy movie, and I'm glad I actually got this for one of our next secular media breakdowns, because just so
Yeah.
for the significance of dreams, as someone who, when I was a kid, I saw the story of Joseph through the movie adaptation called Joseph King of Dreams,
Yeah.
and I, as a kid, saw it without realizing that it was a true story.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
like as an adult who knows the significance of dreams now specifically, it's it makes Inception so much trippier than it already was to begin with.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
to begin with, already people were invested in just what a freaking just a huge just investing story people thought it was, especially with how well it was handled in the end. But when you really do, especially include the biblical significance here, it makes this actually come off far more interesting. Especially
Yeah.
because if this was in reality, let's say, and Cobb really was someone who was like freaking using some sort of military device that allowed you to share dreams, and what happened with Maul happened. The fact that she would be in his dreams is like a freaking
Yeah.
demon genuinely just clinging to him and not wanting to let go, just constantly making him feel a sense of uh, a sense of
Yeah.
guilt in the end.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. That.
in general too, I could imagine a lot of these projections actually also representing that too, because of how many of our friends and family could also be acting kind of not right in a dream.
Hmm.
And And those kind of moments alone, specifically, uh, you could tell that it's probably a an unclean spirit clinging to that projection of your friend or family and making them do
Yeah,
that stuff.
yeah, especially like messing with your, like, if you're already feeling that that person is feeling negatively towards you and
Mm,
you have the dream about that, it's like it plays into your feelings and kind of in a way reinforces it because when you're uh thinking about something, or like you have a thought and then you perceive that thought, what you think it's going to happen is happening, then it reinforces it. Like, for example, you think that your uh, um, your professor or like a teacher is mad at you, and like you see them one day at school, you see them walking down the hall and you say hi, and then they don't say anything. That in your mind that can maybe they're like really busy or something, but in your mind that you say, oh, they must be mad at me, they didn't say hi.
right.
You know, like
In the
like
end, it's the demons that are performing inception and extraction on us, especially to
and
mess
like
with us in so many ways emotionally and mentally.
yeah, like, and with the reinforcement and stuff, like if dreams can also be like kind of based on feelings, because like, or trauma even, because like like let's say someone is undergoing abuse and they have certain dreams that like amplify that person being negatively toward them, and like the dream like recurs over and over again, like,
Yeah.
Here's 60 for now.
oh, thank you.
Welcome, Architect.
There's
Yeah.
definitely something going on in the end to where just all the projections alone, you could probably, to a huge degree, especially when they're turning on anyone in the dream. Because let's be real, whether it's turning on someone who shouldn't be there to just turning on people in general, like it's screwy, especially when, for example, you had Cobb dealing with Maul constantly turning against him. Because if she's just his projection who's supposed to protect his dreams, you'd think that she would actively be on his side, actively trying to help him get through this mission so that he can get home to his kids.
When I'm afraid, I put my trust in you.
Oh yeah, sorry. Hold on.
It's all right. No
I
problem.
was just talking to my dad. All right. So
I
yeah,
Well, specifically with Maul, if she was just so-called a projection who is supposed to defend someone in their dream and protect them, you'd think that she would actually be on Cobb's side in all those dreams, actively trying to help him with those jobs, rather than actively
yeah,
trying to thwart his jobs. And because of
yeah,
that, um, she's clearly a demon in some way, just constantly there to mess with him emotionally, to
yeah. It could
remind
be,
him of what he
and like,
lost.
yeah. I mean, in a way, she was with Ariadne. She is the one who like stabbed her because like she was um put messing with his dream, but
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, like, and like, it it could be that a combination of that and his like feelings of um like I said before, he blames himself for her death, and like so he probably hates himself for it in a way, and like that's a projection of that, like you know uh kind of like when you feel like you know uh, in a way it's kind of like when you feel like you're gonna mess up something, like you feel so strongly about it, and like self-sabotage and stuff. But I do agree that it could be a evil spirit or a demon, you know.
Then, man, it really is such a trip to think about with this one. I have a
Yeah.
feeling that we'll at least get some people also looking into this just because it's a Inception breakdown to begin with.
Yeah.
And in the end here, this really is something that still brought me to think about dreams even more when I rewatched it after realizing the biblical truth behind dreams. In the end, it's part of what actually makes me want to see a sequel. If Cobb then like discovers what is the true significance of dreams and how his work was affecting that,
Yeah, for sure.
because that would be interesting to go into, not only with what happened with Maul, but perhaps what could have happened to the guy that they performed Inception on in the end. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To like check up on him and see what may have actually happened in a unhealthy manner that like really just like while they had the good intentions like he did with Maul, he could end up coming back to that guy's life and realizing that he may have screwed it over.
Yeah.
There's a lot there, and in the end, I feel like this is something that people should watch, especially if they haven't yet. As especially a Christian, it is something that will definitely bring quite the conversation, I believe.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. Like,
I guess that's probably about it, though, because the only other thing I guess I would want to mention here is that we are planning on also doing a secular media breakdown of the original Star Wars stuff. And at least it just being the original 6 movies that George Lucas made, and also the 2D Clone Wars series that was on Cartoon Network made by Genndy Tartakovsky, the creator of Samurai Jack.
yeah.
So, there's a lot with Star Wars that I feel like can be gone into, and I'll just leave it at that for this, since this has probably been a pretty long, over an hour. We've definitely had a good talk here. And chances are the next time we're doing this, we're probably going to be talking about Star Wars and its biblical themes, which there are plenty of.
Yeah. It's yeah. There's a lot there's a few things I can think of, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And definitely well, I feel like when you are someone who especially was such a nerd looking at all this fiction, being so invested in these stories, when you realize that there's biblical significance in practically everything, whether someone intends for there to be or not, it makes it super interesting to revisit fiction every time.
Mm-hmm.
At the very least, it does for me. It's why I still went back to Kingdom Hearts. It's why I am still going through Final Fantasy games. It's why I went through Metal Gear. There's really just a lot to go into when you really are approaching it as someone who knows the biblical truth. And because of that, I also am just simply hoping as time goes on, we might even get some more people to join us on these talks and break this stuff down to really just get people thinking.
Yeah.
Heavenly Father, me and Josh here, we both just ask you to do that for us, for we are going out of our way to help talk about the biblical truth in comparison to a lot of these fictional stories that people may, at least in some way, shape, or form, feel that there is some sort of significance to it, but they just can't figure out what that significance is. Thus, these secular media breakdowns may actually bring many people to Christ. And that is what we pray for. In the mighty name of Jesus Christ, of Yeshua HaMashiach, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
And thank you all for watching. And that's for both those who watched while this was a live stream and those who may watch in the future. And God bless each